Well, hi everybody. I thought I would give you a brief update on what I've been doing for this the Broderers Guild exhibition piece. I'm just tightening this up because I've just read that someone pointed out that the fabric looked quite loose on the ring, which has made me a bit conscious of it. I hadn't noticed it, but it probably, as I said in the reply to them, it probably looked quite loose because these needles, the handmade ones, they do tend to pull the fabric a bit more than perhaps modern finer needles do. And that pulls, I do know that pulls it loose a bit. But anyway, we've tightened the fabric, so hopefully that will be okay for this one. So since we last spoke, the last video, I have remembered my glasses, so hopefully we'll be okay. And I have to, I'll show you that actually, I did undo the lettering and I redid it because I really wasn't happy with it, and I've not finished it yet because I'm still working on ideas for it. You can see my cheeky little Bayer tapestry horse there that I've included. I quite like him, her, it. I think that one's turned out quite well. And these are all going to be based on fragments of embroidery that were found on the Oserberg ship burial up here. So more on that later. But anyway, since I did those letters, I've actually done quite a bit of stitching, which I've put in the update for the end of July. But because the weather's been so hot and changeable, I've been working at it at odd hours, which meant that the light wasn't great for filming. So I've not actually filmed as much as I was planning to do. But I thought today I'd share with you what I'm planning for this needle, which you can see here. So I'm trying to get the colour tones of the handmade needles that I tend to use. And you can see that I've got three different, let me lay these down. 3 different colour tones really, depending on which needles I'm using. I'm not going to follow that one. That's too yellowy for what I want really, because the tone's got to matching with the rest of the piece as well. So I'm kind of blending I'm using silk thread, so hopefully you get a bit of that sheen, that shine, metal shininess. So I'm kind of blending these colour tones here really to try and get that needle look, for want of a better phrase. And to do that, as I said, I've been using, for the letters on other parts of the embroidery, I've been using Japanese silk floss. But for this, I thought I'd try something a bit different, and I'm actually using the Auvergne famous French embroidered silk thread producer. I don't normally use their threads because they're twisted, and I use floss for my work because that's what was used in the early medieval period. But this, I thought this was okay because when you untwist it, it's quite wide. And so what I'm doing is untwisting this particular thread and then sewing it quite flat. And you can see that I'm not really following early medieval style stitching. I suppose this is a loose version of kind of silk shading. They're long split stitches that I am trying to create kind of a smoother effect really, and I'm going to blend in these different colours. So I've used this tone to begin with, which when I was matching up the needle I was like, yes, that's perfect, and now it just looks like a skin tone. I'm a bit like, okay. So I think I'm going to go with this one next. I did line them all up, and I think I'll go with this one next, and we'll see what happens. We can blend it in. I'm using lengths of 60 centimetres, so I'll just cut a length off. I found that I can get 2 to 3 rows done, and the thread is gorgeous. It doesn't it doesn't lose its it doesn't go all bobbly. Sorry, my brain's not working today, is it? Remember my glasses, but not my brain. So it doesn't get bobbly or lose its structure. It works very well. So I'm just untwisting it a little bit. I found this works. And then I will keep untwisting it as I stitch it. Here we go. So as I said, I've been doing the timings on it. I've not really had a chance to get much done. It's in fact, it's stressing me, if I'm being honest, it's stressing me out a bit actually, because that deadline is looming and I'd planned to get it finished weeks ago, but you know what life is like. And as I said in the last update, which went out late, okay, it's the summer holidays over here in the UK now, so all the schools are broken up, so the youngling is around quite a bit too now, so I'm splitting my time between academic work, my writing. When I say academic work, I mean my research writing, the youngling, which is always good fun, and all the usual other things, and going on holiday and things like that. So that's why this has taken its toll a bit. But you know what it's like. You guys have the same I was going to say issues, that's the wrong word. You guys have the same jobs and tasks and things, so you understand where I'm coming from. Right, just threading this. So I remembered my glasses today, and of course I forgot that the cloth with the water to make it easier to thread. Anyway, we're up and running. So this is an experiment really. The way I'm stitching is not how I was taught to stitch long and short or silk shading on the apprenticeship. I'm just kind of going with it and seeing where we end up and how it looks really. So a couple of casting on stitches. I am using 2 this time, not the 1 that I mentioned before. Okay. Now you can see that I've not done an outline. I'm not working over the outline, which is what we would normally do nowadays with silk shading. That's again because I wasn't really sure how I was going to work this. But I think I will be putting in an outline. And you can also see that my stitches are really long. But again, that's because this is more of an experiment, and just see how it ends up. Right, so I've got that darker one on the go. I think I'm going to do another one of these lighter ones. So this is one, I love silk shading. And I wish I could do more of it, and I will at some point in my life. It's like everything I say on these videos, isn't it? Yeah, I really love silk shading. I'll have to do a video where I show you some of the pieces I did on the apprenticeship, so you can see the kind of style that I have. And one of the things I love about it is the fact you can have so many different threads on the go at the same time. You can just pick them up and use them and create these kind of painted like pictures. Or it's like using coloured pencils, lots and lots of coloured pencils, and you add a colour that may not be expected and it gives it a zing. I remember on the apprenticeship there was a girl in the year above who She was an amazing drawer. In fact, most people on the apprenticeship were fantastic drawers. I suppose it goes with the territory really. And but she used to use these really vivid colours and to get these amazingly dynamic drawings that were so alive, and then she would translate them into stitch. It's fantastic really. Right, so we've started off. It's come out my needle already. Great, we'll just wrap that around there for now. So what I don't want with this is a hard line of, this is light, this is medium shade. We want to blend it in. So do a couple of stitches and then go back to the lighter colour, which hasn't untwisted as well this time. Maybe I didn't do it properly, but that's a good thing. You can untwist it as you go. There we go. And as I said, I'm creating very long stitches. You wouldn't see stitches this long really on the pieces, silk shading pieces that people work nowadays. You might see stitches nearly this length, perhaps on Japanese work. Ah, look, there we go, it's untwisting nicely now. Okay, and then I'm just pulling, I've got my other hand underneath, and I'm just pulling the silk flat and holding it so that then it lies flat when it's being pierced and worked and stitched through with the next stitch. And you'll also see that I'm not actually taking my needle up as you would with split stitch at the end of the previous stitch, where that had been taken down through the fabric. Again, it's an experiment, and it's not really how I usually would work. And part of me is like, oh, this is quite exciting, and part of me is like, no, you should be putting that needle up through the last hole. It's like, oh. So we shall see. As I said, I've decided I will be outlining. I didn't really want to outline the needle because I wanted it to just be there, but I think I'm going to have to. And so what I will probably do with that is, because all outlines done in the early medieval period would be stem stitch, but as you can see from the little horse, stem stitch, it's quite bold, even though it doesn't necessarily stand any higher than the other stitching. It's impactful. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use stem stitch to outline or a different stitch. Small split stitches maybe. I'll have a think about it. So just to recap, in case you didn't see the first video about this piece, why not? I say that a lot, don't I? We're going to have to stop saying that. But basically this is a piece that I'm creating for the Broderers Exhibition, which I talked about in the last video. And when I put the application in, I was like, oh, we'll have plenty of time. But as with everything, time slipped away. So I'm now getting a bit stressed because the deadline is the end of August. Also, it was my own fault because I misunderstood. I thought that they wanted a drawing of the final piece by the end of August, not the actual finished piece. So yeah, that's also partly my fault. But yeah, so I'm now trying to get this done so I can send them high resolution images of it. By the end of August. We shall see. Right. Let's go back to this colour now, I think. So I've taken this thread back up here because I want all my stitches to split the previous one at the top and lie this way down. In early medieval embroidery, they used to go down one way and then back up the other. But in this instance, I want it all to lie the same way to hopefully give it the same shine or reflectiveness. So that's why I'm taking the thread back up to the top. Okay. So on this row, I'm going to just extend this darker colour a little more. Just untwist it a bit. Yeah, so there were a number of reasons I chose this thread over the Japanese floss. One was because when you unravel it, you actually get a slightly thicker width of thread, which I thought could be quite interesting and different to the rest of the stitch work. And then the other one was because it's been twisted and because of the way it's been produced, it's got a slightly different shine and texture to it compared to the Japanese thread. So I thought that particularly for this needle, that could be quite interesting. Well, interesting, but also it will give a different effect, and that's what we're after compared to the imagery below. And all this is probably sounding a bit like, what is she going on about? But it will all become clear when I show you the finished piece, when I reveal it. Okay, so moving back on to this colour. And this is, I think, looking a bit bland, so I may actually, where's that gone? Add a third colour. So I'm looking at the tones I've ordered and I'm not sure which colour to go for. So, sorry, I'm muttering. So I'm just saying, it's looking a bit bland, so I think I might be add a third tone, but when I ordered these threads, I ordered them in a run and a sequence of coloured tones, not a sequence of numbers, to try and get tones that matched and looked good. But I'm not sure which one I'm going to put in next. I might put that one in because that's a bit different, it's a bit zingy. In fact, let's do that. So the others are all very orangey, really. But I'm going to go for this one, which is more pink. Ooh, I don't think I've got any more of those particular needles on me. I'm just rummaging in my box here. No, I'll have to use a different one. ooh, which one do I like the look of? Are you like this? When you stitch, you go through your needles and you're like, ooh, which one's taking my fancy today? I think I'll go for this one. These are handmade. These are handmade Japanese needles as well. Let's just untwist this a bit. Ooh, look at that. That went well. Okay. I also find, maybe I shouldn't admit this, so I love drinking tea. And I also find I go to this cupboard and we've got lots of different cups, all different shapes and sizes. And I look in the cupboard and I'm like, which one I'm going to go for? And it's gut instinct as to which one I think is going to make the perfect cup of tea for what I need at that time. It's the same with needles. Gosh, this one is proving a little tricky to thread. I can't blame my eyesight now because I've got my glasses on. Oh, here we go. Yes, got it. Get there in the end. Patience. Keep telling me, youngling. Right. Let's add a bit of zing and see what happens. If it looks terrible, we can easily take it out. It's a good job I've not got a camera below today. I can feel all the threads crisscrossing each other. Right, let's see. Where are we up to? Here. And twist it a bit. This one's a nice colour. It's got a really, really nice shine to it. Gosh, that is very different. Ooh, right, this one's going to be used for highlights, really, and then it'll be blended in. It's like painting with a needle. That's what the Victorians used to say. So I haven't forgotten about the bear tapestry. It's just that, as I'm sure you can imagine, the moment I'm on a bit of a, got to get this done. It is on its frame over in the corner there, waiting to be pulled out again, and that will happen soon. Well, I say soon, it will happen in the next few weeks once I've got this done. This is all twisted back up again. It reminds me of the Cuthbert recreation project, actually, because there I had the silk floss and I was twisting it ever so slightly to get the twist that I needed. Why is that? Oh, there we go, got the wrong end. Oh, that's annoying. Just thinking I might actually go dark at the bottom here. Yeah, I'm going to. Let's get one of those darker threads on. We'll create a bit of shadow coming up from where the needle punctures the fabric. So I say this has been quite stressful. It has in the sense that I've got to get it done, and every time I think, oh, I'm going to spend a day doing this, a load of jobs appear on the horizon, which is always the way, isn't it? But when I'm actually stitching it, it's nice because it's different to what I'm normally working on. So either wool on linen a la Bayeux tapestry, or working wool on linen at the moment for kits. Although I am in the process of working on a silk and gold thread embroidery kit, which I'm quite excited about. I've done all the silk work for it. I'm now on the I'm working on the gold, which is quite fine. So this will be a kit, an advanced kit when it comes out, I think. I'll see. Might be intermediate to advanced. What's that thread I've just caught there? Oh, it's that one. Let's put that down there. Okay, so let's start putting in a bit of shadow down here. There we go. Just the one stitch, but that will work. Bring that up there. Remember when I've done silk shading in the past, have about 5 or 6 different needles on the go. Different coloured threads. Okay. Bring that one up there. Okay, and go back to this one. Yep, that's separated out, that's good. Oh. So what you'll see as well is that there was, well, you won't know this, but there's a line, a drawn line here to mark where the thread goes through the eye of the needle. So I've just stitched that in very small split stitches in the light, in the medium, well, what's now turned out to be the medium, just to mark it out. And then I just need to work out how I'm going to work that. When we come to it. And the reason I've done the little stitches is so normally in silk shading you would outline everything with tiny stitches, and then as you work your needle you would take your needle over that line and through to the back of the fabric at a 45-degree angle, and it gives you a neat line. Now in hindsight, that's what I should have done around the edge of the needle as well, but as I said, I didn't. Anyway, but I'm going to leave that there, I think. Just go a bit short from this one. Yeah, and I think I'll bring that lighter thread in now, much earlier. So that's down here, so we need to pass this all the way back up here. Okay, pull this tight. Oh, what's going off there? Oh, it's the needle. That's I've not found it with these needles, but with these Japanese ones, I've found that very occasionally you get a little notch of metal that's not being filed off or something, and sometimes it catches. Only very occasionally there. One more. Let's try it. It's all judgment, isn't it? That's one of the things I like. However, it's not great if you're having to get your work marked and the person marking your work doesn't like what you've done, but you think it's amazing. It's just down to personal judgment, even though there is a criteria. Right, so what I'm going to do is carry on with all of this, and I will, when I finish the needle, I might not do a video, but I might just take a photograph of the end of the needle once it's finished and pop that at the end of the video so that you can see the end result. But I just thought I'd give you this quick update as to what's been going on and where we're up to on this particular project. Although, as you will have noticed, I've not shown you any of the other bits down here that I've completed yet. It's all a surprise. But I will do that before I send it all off and everything. I'll do a recap. Oh, got to get the if I might undo that and put the darker thread in. So I will just do this darker thread. And then I shall leave you in peace for a bit. Okay, so here we go. Darker thread. Slightly higher up, I think. Oh, I really hope this gives the effect I want. It's not at the minute. We'll see. Sometimes these things look better when you leave that. Don't look at them for a day or two, don't they? And then you come back to them and you're like, oh yeah, it does look how I like it. I wanted it to. Right. So on that note, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to carry on filling all this in, and then I shall pop a photograph of it at the end of the video, and you can see it in all its glory. There might be some more colours added actually, because I've got these this darker thread, so I might be adding that one. No, that darker thread, sorry. I might be adding that one at some point. But with that in mind, happy stitching, and I shall see you next time.